It's Monday, so it's time for In the Loop on Corbin's Coasters and More. This is where you get your weekly theme park news and where you get your questions answered. I'm trying a new release schedule, so for the next few weeks, videos might come out later at night, just so you know. My thought process is that when most people seem to be mindlessly scrolling through YouTube, I'll give you something interesting and new to watch. This week's episode includes news about Dollywood, Harry Potter, the Avengers Campus, as well as some coaster updates and something interesting in Las Vegas. Let's start with the news. The new Harry Potter flagship store is officially open in the Flatiron district of New York City. If you think the shopping in Diagon Alley is immersive at Universal Studios, check this out. There are 15 themed areas featuring many Potter things such as a room for each house, a bookstore, a wand store, and even a 100-kilogram floating statue of Fawkes the Phoenix. The Wizarding World has also announced that eventually fans can expect to try out 2 sensory virtual reality adventures. The first is called Chaos at Hogwarts, which invites customers to step inside the beloved castle, and the second is called Wizards Take Flight, where you will be gifted with the feeling of flying on a broom across London. There is also a Harry Potter fan club app which unlocks extra surprises as you explore the store. Yes, they do have butterbeer, and they do have interactive wand spots and plenty of photo ops, and even have exclusive wands such as the Golden Snitch wand that you can only buy at the flagship store. In addition, they have a House of Mina Lena, which is home to the graphic designers that created the props you see in Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. Sounds pretty cool, especially to be separate from a theme park, and from everything I can tell, admission to the actual store is free just like any other store in New York. I can't tell if they're in any way related to Universal Studios though, and I'm not sure if the wand spots are compatible with wands from the parks, or vice versa. I'll keep looking into this and I'll let you know when I know. More interesting travel news that's not exactly theme parks but just something I find really cool is the new Tesla Vegas Loop by Elon Musk. It's expected to open for the World of Concrete tomorrow. If you haven't yet heard of it, the Vegas Loop is eventually expected to be a futuristic underground transportation system that will eventually connect all of the major resorts in Vegas to each other, to downtown, and to the airport and convention center. Right now they've finished 3 stations all around the convention center. If you've never been, the Vegas Convention Center is huge, over 3 million square feet, so it would be nice to have a quick free transportation around the place. What's built so far is a 0.8-mile tunnel that goes both ways. It's only about 90 seconds between stations, and although eventually the cars will be autonomous or at least quasi-autonomous, right now they will literally be Teslas driven by drivers in an underground tube. If this works out, it really could be the future of city infrastructure, as the construction of the Vegas Loop was only $52.5 million. Compare that to New York's 2nd Avenue subway that was $2.5 billion for a mile. So I'm hopeful to see this succeed to help travel far in the future. By the way, all of these statistics were found on Vital Vegas, the best place for news on Las Vegas. Now for regular theme park stuff. Velocicoaster has been having some issues lately. They've had a couple of ride evacuations where they pull people off the ride. Now they are still in a soft opening, or as they call it in Universal, a technical rehearsal, which means that the ride is expected to break down at times or not be able to accommodate the entire queue at times. And there is a chance that if you go in the next couple of days, it could be closed altogether to prepare for the grand official opening on June 10th. The rumor is that you should actually expect the coaster to close for at least one day before officially opening. Wait times have been getting longer already, and I only expect the lines to grow more and more as people hear about the ride. I also expect it to be pretty much fully operational for grand opening because, unlike Hagrid's The Next Land Over, Velocicoaster seems to have had a nice, smooth, soft open for the most part. What is open right now that I'm excited to see later today is the new Jurassic World tribute store at Universal Studios Florida, with 3 themed rooms to the island at IOA. USF also has a new mini food festival themed to the Olympics that I hope to catch some of later today, and maybe Friday you'll see a nice update on the park, especially if I catch a bit of the new DreamWorks show that's officially open. Just know that I have very little interest in the DreamWorks show, but I will try to capture some of it for your infotainment. Also open officially is the Marvel Avengers Campus and Disney's California Adventure that I won't get to for a long while, including the new Spider-Man Web Slingers ride and the new Stuntronic robot that actually flies. The ride is an interactive web shooting ride with a similar system to the Scoop-In Islands of Adventure in Florida. It is a virtual queue-only attraction at the moment, and like Rise of Resistance at Disneyland and Disney World, you have to get up early to book a reservation. Ticketed and reserved guests can attempt to get a boarding group at 7 a.m. in the morning of your park visit. If you do not obtain a pass then, you have another chance at noon, but you must be in the park for that one, and there are a limited number of groups available each day. Also included in the Avengers Campus is the already open Guardians of Galaxy Mission Breakout that they renovated from Tower of Terror a couple years ago. For food, they have the PEM Test Kitchen from Ant-Man. This menu features science-themed foods such as the Calculated Breakfast, which is a basic breakfast plate, and the Impossible Quantum Garden Breakfast, which is a plant-based omelet with fake sausage, potatoes, and toast. And for drinks, they have the PIM Tasting Lab, featuring drinks such as Experiment with Patron Mango and Habanero and Mango Boba, and then the Honey Fusion, which is a beer cocktail with gin and a honey straw, as well as a large selection of craft beers. It's nice to see Disney come up with some nice-looking craft cocktails. And the price is about $16 to $18, which in Southern California, that's really not that bad for a great drink. And just so you know, I have been digging for any information on the new SeaWorld coasters that are standing but not operating. Icebreaker, Pantheon, Emperor, and Iron Gwazi. I have still seen nothing. And the date on SeaWorld's website still says expected opening 2021. Praying for a summer opening, especially with the lack of summer concerts at the parks. Pretty big news also out of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where Dolly Parton confirmed the 10-year plan for Dollywood, which will include a $500 million investment in a new 302-room Heartsong Lodge near the theme park, as well as a campground, 3 resorts to bring the total to 5, and a record-breaking new attraction in 2023. It'll be interesting to see Dollywood grow more into a tourist attraction that brings people to the area, not the other way around, similar to how Disney and Universal do in Orlando and California. No Q&A this week, so I'll probably go heavy on the viewer questions next week. I know the last couple weeks were light. I was waiting on a new computer, then I had a funeral to go to, so that really threw me off my schedule. So this week and next week should be great. I have a lot planned, including some coaster face-offs, tips and tricks for the Ohio theme parks, Universal updates, making butterbeer cocktails at home, and more. Only here on Corbin's Coasters and More.